Good evening, and welcome to Jahmal Gallery, Las Vegas. I'm the artist Jahmal. And today I'm going to introduce you to my latest collection, which I'm really honored and pleased to have gotten accomplished, but it's not just the collection, it's where the collection is actually headed. This particular collection is heading over to France to one of the great writers of the 20th century, the great Alexandre Dumas' home, the Chateau de Monte Cristo. So, of course, that is the title of the collection. This is a collection that I put together, let's say, I began in October 2018. And I worked it all the way through to January. And it was a very challenging time during that particular period because I lost one of my great friends, Roy Hargrove. So in the midst of losing such a great friend, it was an honor. Our friendship meant so much to me that it drove me into a very creative state. So of course I created these pieces here. So we have the Chateau de Monte Cristo, which is a piece I did on sequence, which has become one of my methods that was created here in Las Vegas. And with the sequence, something I learned from the Liberace collection is that sequence is one of the fabrics and materials that is used to preserve things, and apparently Liberace had it to a science. This particular piece, the Chateau de Monte Cristo, is a composition of the top throne of Alexandre Dumas, and it has his initials inscribed into the structure. And I remember reading that when this chateau was built, Alexandre Dumas mentioned that money wasn't an issue. So he had the absolute finest of finest craftsmanship and structure put together under this one chateau, and it was an honor to be there. So to commemorate this exhibition, I created the Chateau de Monte Cristo. So the second piece in the collection that I think would be fitting for the Chateau de Monte Cristo would be one of my favorite images that I created over the years, Puccini's last opera, Turandot. And in this piece, it carries the sophistication of the great empress, but is also another composition with the sequence. And then the way this piece is done, and all the pieces, you know, they're painted and structured, and then I have to shoot fire to cure them. So these things could take up to, I would say, 1,300 degrees, maybe 1,600, but you have to really know how to work it to get it to really settle. And each piece is signed. It's about 52 inches by 58 inches, and it's pretty heavy. But sequence is heavy, actually. So yeah, this is by far one of my favorite pieces. I was fortunate enough as a kid, growing up in Chicago and being a part of the public school system, and I had several teachers that were really into taking the children outside of the classroom and giving them real life experiences. And one particular teacher was fond of the opera, the plays, and every opportunity she got to go to see her favorite play, she took the classroom. So by the time I was 12, I had seen just about every opera that popped in town and all the plays at the Goodman and so on. And it was a good culture to be a part of as a young kid. And a lot of my friends experienced the same thing, but for each child it's going to be something different. And to me it was all like an adventure. So one of my by far favorite operas was Puccini's last one, Turandot, and I wanted to capture that, the elegance of it. And to have this piece in your collection is like capturing love. It's a magical piece. And the third piece of the collection is one I'm fond of. It's a magical boy named Caleb. And Caleb is a mythical character who has magical powers that dream of going to beautiful places and exploring different things. And I was that boy growing up. In my dreams, I traveled and I went on journeys. I fought dragons, I could fly. I fenced and sword fight inside of the Chateau de Monte Cristo. But yeah, Caleb is that magical boy that's inside of all of us. You know, the one who wants to dream and see the stars and the planets and the magical and the beauty of life. And that's what this piece absolutely represents. And Alexandre Dumas' writings made me feel like this little boy here. You know, it took me to magical places when I dreamed, and I was a prince or a sultan, and I would ride a horse, and I had swords, and I would fight men and jump, and it's magical. So yeah, this character is absolutely one that's dear to the collection, and this is also going to be on collection at the Chateau. 52 inches by 58 inches high. So it's a rather nice sized piece, but absolutely one to have in your collection by far. So the fourth piece of the collection is, and I keep saying by far, this is my favorite. As an artist, you're gonna say that on every piece you create. It's the combination of Liberace and Michael Jackson, known as the Thriller Villa. And I wanted to create something that kind of signified their relationship. Michael Jackson housed a $600 million collection in the Thriller Villa here in Las Vegas at the time of his death, and was Liberace collection currently reside in that same facility. And it's an incredible place to visit if you ever come to Vegas. So this in honor of Michael, in honor of the great Liberace, in which my grandmother made me watch Liberace as well. So I created that piece, and it has a lot of good feeling, a good expression, kind of Phantom of the Opera kind of vibration to it. It's art. And it just so happened to be adorning the table here with the bottles that will also be a part of the collection that will be traveling to the Chateau de Monte Cristo. So if you take a notice here, this is the Dumas, Alexandre Dumas bottle, which is a Bordeaux bottle, which I cut with the great Dumas adorning it. That's that there. And then the collection here, which consists of the Chateau de Monte Cristo, which will be on display as well at the Chateau. These are the Chateau de Monte Cristo collection bottles that I created, that I also would be bringing a collection to the Chateau as well. Now these could have multiple purposes. We could, perhaps use them in fundraising or something for the Chateau, or something that, some form of offering as well. And I know traditionally this type of item is very, very attractive in the fundraising community, to do something really honorable to help keep the Chateau going, and that future generations will get to be able to experience what I did. Perhaps I would open up a vein for people to take pilgrimage to the Chateau to experience what I experienced. So again, this collection could totally take us to that place, and it's something that I think Dumas, of course, would have had in his Chateau, his own collection. So yeah, so these are some of the things that will be traveling with us as we journey over to France this summer for 3 months, June through September, to exhibit at the Chateau de Monte Cristo. And again, the latest collection that was created here in Las Vegas. So the collection that I've been showing you previously were all created from a period of 2018, October to January. And this was a part, I just kind of got into this whole, again, not frantic, but needing something to soothe me after Roy had passed on. But this particular piece I did before I took off to London in August of last year. And this piece is very, very dear to me because it starts from an actual photograph that I shot one night after leaving the Olympia at a party, and I was the only American invited. And it was a house DJ, and I was playing this red Elton John piano and the best Grand Crus and most fabulous champagnes and everything. We really had a great time. And this is probably about 5 a.m., 5:30 perhaps, leaving the Olympia and taking the subway to de France. And as I entered the subway, I look and I see this beautiful advertisement of this woman just lying there, you know, and saying that the summer is getting hot in French. And I had to capture it. 2007, I believe it was. And wow, 12 years later, I was inspired to do a painting of it, to go into the gallery. So in this composition, my goal was to give the illusion of actually being inside of the subway so that one could experience what it was like to actually walk through there. And this method is acrylic and a resin, and where I had to build a structure to make it go against an oval wall. It wasn't actually planned that way. Art creates itself, we just do the mechanics. So again, you know, the structure makes the piece. You know, the ideal was to create the image, and then the structure had to be built so that it could accommodate the wall. And thus doing that, again, it goes back to the art piece making itself and somewhat. So the piece starts at this particular panel, and where I use the resin to highlight the lustful structure of the subway tiles that you see, have seen for years. And it's a good piece that represents travel to France. And this is the station with the purple chairs, if you've ever been. I just didn't do purple here. But yeah, this is a combination of different math processes to create it. There's even an image behind this image, but I'll talk to you about that in detail later. But it's a process that I used to create the formula to make the piece. So again, there's brush strokes going in different variations here, and then I use the resin to make the image really come alive and to give it some drama. So when you walk around it, of course, it's the Great Opera Station. Thank you. Walk over here. And last but not least, of course, I couldn't show up without the Royal Acclaim decanters and Bordeaux bottles. It would be only fitting to have them as part of the collection. And what we have here is there's an Alexandre Dumas decanter. You saw the bottle earlier when we were shooting over the Cannes du Opera. So there's the Dumas bottle that'll be going. Yeah, and there's the opera station as well. We also want to bring some other ones that we think would be relating. Of course, we have the Puccini's opera, Turandot, in her Bordeaux setting with Swarovski crystals. See that piece. And then, of course, I could not even enter France without bringing Mademoiselle Josephine Baker with the Eiffel Tower adorning the bottle. There she is. Keep her in high places. And of course, we have the decanter to go with that one as well. We also, it's up higher, it won't make the shot, but there's the magical boy, Caleb up there. And also, there's a possibility that this collection would come as well. We just got to, decide which ones and how everything is going to be shipped. So, but this is what I'm interested in bringing as well. And if you guys see anything else that you think you could have there, that you see in the gallery that I should bring, like this, perhaps this cocktail dress gown I created here. And this concludes the presentation for the Chateau de Monte Cristo collection. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm Jahmal. Thank you, and looking forward to meeting you in June. And as we celebrate this occasion, this exhibition in France, au revoir.